you should have reputation advisors at the table when you're doing the deals. That will help protect and maximise the value.
So Rachel, we keep reading that there's around 1.2 trillion in private equity capital waiting to be spent, which means there's plenty of competition for investments. So let's discuss why reputation is important to consider when looking at deals.
Juliet, reputation is important because it adds to the value. It's not just me saying this, but the World Economic Forum has figures saying that about 25% of a company's value is based on its reputation and what people think. So perception of the business and your people are really important. Reputation's an asset. So it makes sense, following from that you should have reputation advisors at the table when you're doing the deals. That will help protect and maximise the value. Also avoid unpleasant surprises. So you've got a good reputation, which attracts talent, clients, business partners, and it builds your brand resilience. But poor reputation, that leads to reputation risks, management time, costs, regulatory scrutiny, and that pulls away and detracts from the value.
Right, and a poor reputation is often symptomatic of other operational and commercial issues. But reputation is so often an afterthought, sometimes considered quite late in the deal-making process, either because there's a red flag thrown up in the commercial due diligence, or the team start thinking about stakeholder communication quite late in the day. So doing the reputation due diligence early on alongside the other due diligence can be very insightful. And this should really start with an investigation of a broad range of aspects of the company through the lens of reputation. For example, what do people say about the leadership and what is their track record? Are there red flags in terms of the culture and working practices? Is there a history of employment tribunal cases or whistleblowers? Does the company have a history of working with state entities or rely on supply chains in unstable markets?
So, Juliet, given what you've said, why aren't people doing reputation due diligence? What's stopping them?
Well, there are a few myths about reputational due diligence. Firstly, it can be perceived as something of a deal killer, purely focused on finding red flags rather than a deal enabler. But good reputational due diligence is about removing obstacles, mitigating risks, for example, through indemnities and warranties, or negotiating a better price. And importantly, you don't have to do it all at the outset. It can be tailored and phased in line with the trajectory of the deal, starting with a broad sweep and then narrowing in on pertinent issues. It can also be built into the deal timetable and scaled with the likelihood of completion. Finally, good reputation due diligence should also sort the signal from the noise. And in an age of information overload, it needs to be able to discern if the content about the company or its leaders is actually credible. So this is where a strong understanding of how the media works and how it can be manipulated into throwing up red flags, even when those flags aren't necessarily justified, is essential. So that's clearly what the buy side should be thinking about, but what about the sell side, Rachel?
Well, Juliet, it's almost the reverse. If you're on the sell side, you need to think about what are the buyers looking at. So you need to almost think reverse due diligence as soon as you're thinking about a capital raising event or selling. It's far easier to make changes or put things in place before you go to market or before you put yourself out there. So if there's false allegations, you can use tools to remove them or prepare rebuttal statements to counter them. But you need to be really quick, really alert, and respond quickly to false allegations, disinformation, because the spread online is immensely quick nowadays. Is there a smear campaign brewing? Are some of your competitors trying to undermine you? You mustn't let people or the media fill the void if there's no information out there about you. Someone will fill it, so it's important to build your own narrative, even a discreet one, first.
Right, but what about the wider macro issues that might impact a deal?
Well, that's right. As well as looking at inside and what's going on your doorstep, you need to think about what are those macro issues, different jurisdictions, what might affect your deal, what's going on in politics nowadays.
But it's not just the businesses that will be under the microscope, is it?
Juliet, that's totally right. It's not just the businesses, it's the individuals, and we very much underestimate that, and people don't look at the leaders who will be under scrutiny and might be quite surprised by that. So they need to look at their family, check where the information is coming from, look what's out there. It shows buyers, if you're looking after your reputation, you're looking after your asset, It shows how important you are thinking about this and that there won't be any skeletons. Ultimately, what you're doing is integrating your reputation as part of your business, as an asset, to increase the value of the deal and increase the leverage.